Hey, my friends, welcome. Today I'm going to be exploring, dissecting, feeling into the importance of feeling and for you to become more in tune with what you are feeling. I often talk about the gradient process of becoming less unconscious to becoming more conscious. We can simmer that down and distill it into one point, and that be becoming more conscious about how you feel. In the beginning, sometimes we need a really loud bang to tune into and become more conscious about how we are feeling. I remember when in my early mid 20s, I had chronic health issues going on with me. One of the most destructive and dark ones was I was suffering from sexual dysfunction at such a young age due to the chronic instability and dysfunction going on within my nervous system. I was in what we could call dorsal vagal shutdown. Very chronic when our nervous system's like that. That's when we're in the depth of almost hopelessness. And if you're a man watching this, damn, you know what I'm saying when you feel completely shut off from yourself and then the world. There is this cloud of emotional numbness going on. And that really spurred me along in my very earlier days into galvanizing an action plan to process forward. That was actually one of the really big turning points and spiritual awakenings I went through. And it really was the precursor to that awakening was what was going on within me in a really, really chronic, dysfunctional way. Not looking back to create a little pity party for myself, not looking to fall into victim mode, falling into gratitude mode when it comes to that part of the journey. Because when I reflect now, everything, I'm sure you can relate, all the paths were leading to where I am now, which is very far removed from how I was back then. But the journey of feeling for me, becoming more conscious about how I'm feeling, back then that was loud, that was really in my face, like boom, like this is how God, that I don't want to feel like this. But when we start to heal and move and shift, we come into start that journey becoming more conscious of how we feel. The journey becomes more and more subtle and much more nuanced. And when we come away and we start to heal our nervous system, we start to come away from that, say, that chronic level of shutdown, which some of you may be able to resonate with. When we start to heal and we start to cultivate that deep level of safety that's going on within our nervous system. And this is what it's all about as well, that journey of going from that intense threat, shutdown feeling, we could say then, to this more going into a feeling of deep safety. When we go into the deep safety mode, we start to feel we could call that ventral vagal. When we feel connected, we feel energized, we feel our life force, we feel all of these, say, positive emotions going on within us. The journey then becomes a lot more subtler with how we feel. We become more and more tuned into the capacity to really listen to what's going on within us. We start to be able to listen and in tune. The listening part is tuning into, on a really profound degree, how we feel. In the moment by moment, we are tuning and refining our awareness of one-pointedness of mind, of focusing on how we feel. Because back in the day when we were unconscious and not focused on how we feel, we had all these autonomous processes, the feelings, emotions, being governed, run by the subconscious, then the unconscious patterns that were going on, which were then impressing the subconscious, which would then in turn create loads of discord and harmony within ourselves and within our life. Our lives are very much more likely and prone to become far more dysfunctional when the more unconscious we are of how we feel in the moment. Ooh, coming back. And when we journey in to start refining this, we start to tune in to how we feel more so. And then with our inner compass and inner guidance and our spiritual will, and our spiritual will is essentially the use of a mechanism which helps us govern our direction of where we are focused in this now moment. We start to be focused more on how we feel, but then we have the capacity and ability to be able to change how we feel more and more consciously. We have tactics. That's the word that came to me. Tactics. We have ways and means. Wherever you are in your journey, you'll naturally have like the power, like an attractive power to call in whatever is beneficial for you to help you in this process. For me, breath work was very, very big. I'd throw in cold exposure as well. Ice baths and breath work have been such a powerful part of my journey when it comes to this cultivation of listening and being able to feel, but then also be developing more and more presence so I can focus more consciously on how I feel. Boom, there it is. Yeah, I've got to celebrate myself right now. I'm like, okay, this is landing right. It's got you just like, even in a video, just having revelations, mate, of like what's about what's going on with me. And it's really cool to just use this time as a way to reflect on what's happened. And even now, just putting stuff together when it comes to my journey and process with this compassionate smile on my face at everything I've got to process through. So I hope you're feeling this, and I hope you're feeling your end too. And the development of conscious feeling, becoming more and more conscious of how we feel. And I was listening to Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. I sometimes prefer calling her name Esther. I just love Esther, and of course Abraham as well. They're kind of like the whole emphasis of their way they present themselves. But Esther Hicks, she would always talk about this importance of being more really, really in tune with how you feel, because it's from how we feel which is creating everything that's going on with us within our lives. It's the fulcrum, the landscape, the foundations of what we are experiencing. And it's just very, very extremely beneficial to become more conscious of that due to the profound implications of that process. I talk about creator mode a lot, and this is where it's at when it comes to creator mode. This is another nuanced perspective and insight on this, is that our conscious capacity to understand and decipher how we feel. When you go into a restaurant or you have a really nice meal, there's a part of you that's either consciously or unconsciously registering what's going on with the flavors and the textures and what's going on with you. And sometimes, I don't know about you, it's sometimes quite hard to do that, to break down put the names to the flavors, actually break down the nuanced parts of the ingredient, those little kicks, those juicy bits, those however you want to look at it. But it's exactly like that. But whereas with a meal and some food, it's not really as important for you to decipher whether it's got garlic in it, whether it's got da-da-da in it, whether it's got this or that in it, whether it's this texture, whether it's done too much, done too less. But when it comes to the regards of your reality and your capacity to create your reality, it becomes more and more imperative for you to determine what ingredients are in your recipe, that are in your specific meal. We could break that down. Let's make it more pragmatic. Apathy, when it comes to an emotional feeling state, frequency, where we got apathy, grief, anger, those desires, those lower nature desires, shall we say, that are really beneficial to decipher. And it's through those elements and parts of the heaviness of being human, if we get stuck in those and we don't know how to process it, and we don't know where we are, we don't catch ourselves going into this emotional loop, this spiral downward, shall we say. Respect and credit to Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks and Jerry Hicks for their emotional spiral diagram and illustration to this. Because the quicker we catch ourselves with how we feel, the quicker we'll be able to ascend back up. And once again, nothing is good, nothing is bad. We're just like navigating. Everything's got momentum, everything's got motion to it. Everything just comes with a different flavor. But the key ingredient is our ability to catch ourselves with our awareness and our presence, to focus in how we feel right now, to catch when something comes in, when a vibration comes in that we don't want, catch it. Then even in that moment of being aware of it, the journey begins with our ascension back up, away from that. And as well as that, we will, once we catch it, it gives us the capacity and ability to be able to feel what's going on as well. We'll be able to catch it, we'll be able to feel it, we'll be able to neutralize it with acceptance and be with it. And just that process alone, boom, you are, like I say, neutralizing that process and that moment in time, which could very quickly spiral downwards, which will have massive implications on your vibration. I feel the need to reiterate that nothing's good nor bad, and it's okay to go down. It's okay to go that, but just the intention to be there, like, okay, I'm just going to do my best to catch myself, to add a bit of lightness into the process, to not be tough on yourself, to be like, okay, I'm hearing grief. Oh my God, it's okay. I caught myself. Maybe today's better because I caught myself quicker. But then again, we don't want to be bringing in that ego mechanism of inner competition. I've got to catch myself quicker tomorrow. I've got to keep doing it. That brings in resistance. We want to be like, just like, oh my God, there it is. This is what's going on. I just feel that already, just with that presentation of changing. I was like, oh my God, okay, here we go. We're drifting a little bit there. I've got to bring this video back. Yeah. So now we're shooting back up again. So come and join me, like Esther Hicks again. This is about Esther Hicks. Damn. Yeah. She was like, high flying disc. Let's get on that. And yeah, thank you for receiving my playfulness. So yeah, it's really important, this feeling, become more conscious of how you feel, conscious feeling, conscious creating. Whew. Taking a breath for you, taking a breath for me on our journey, doing our thing, loving it, being playful when we can, being light when we can, not being tough on ourselves, no shame, condemnation, and all that kind of stuff. Trying to minimize that down, damage limitation on that, as and when we can. And just taking one step at a time. Here we go, guys. Feeling is the secret. Check out, back end of the video, Feeling is the Secret, Neville Goddard. Check that out. I'll be speaking more on him as time goes on. Check out that book if you can. And I'm so excited to see you already in the next video.